Good morning, everybody, and welcome to Morning Coffee. It's James. I'm James, and this cup of coffee here, it's not really a cup of coffee. It's just me pretending to drink a cup of coffee. Oh, that sip of the day, which I used to take off from Scott Adams, and honestly, at the end of it, I kind of rejected it because Scott Adams basically Scott Adams has kind of changed. I mean, you know how like you watch somebody and you respect them, and then all of a sudden they kind of just do shit that like you're just like, come on, guy. Come on. Oh, by the way, that's an airsoft rifle, if anybody's wondering. It's up there for decoration, so anybody freaking out, he's got a gun on screen! This is inappropriate! Can you people just fuck off? I mean, you people are worse than the fucking people from the 80s and the 90s. This, you know, and a lot of people want to say, I have to agree with Razorfist and Tarantino on this, which both these men talked about the censorship in the 80s and the 90s, and even in the aughts a little bit. There's a lot of this bullshit of, like, I mean, I will say this, like, even in, like, watching one of my favorite podcasts, which is called Almost a Cult Classic, which is basically their, it's a podcast where these two guys by the name of Joey Ramino and I forget the other guy's name. It's Ryan something, but I'll look it up right now. So these two guys, and I hope don't want to. Oh, excuse me. These two gentlemen do this podcast where they basically talk about movies, like underrated movies, you know, such as like one of the movies they did was Nothing But Trouble, which by the way you should definitely check out. But one of the guys Ryan was talking about how this phenomenon of cancel culture and this whole, you know, censorship that's going on it's never changed. It's this political correctness nonsense that's happening now. You know, oh, well, you could never do that. It's like, who are you afraid of? Some fat lesbian on Twitter who's gonna be like, oh, you're offending me. Shut the fuck up. You can't even. You're not even a threat. You're a fat lesbian with blue hair and a feminist. Shut up. Shut the fuck up. We're doing whatever we want to do, so kiss my ass. I'm sorry, I get annoyed with these people, and they've been around since the fucking dawn of entertainment. These fucking people with the Haynes Code, the moral panic. Now you're fucking worried? And I mean, even in this country, we're so fucking bipolar with that. You know what I mean? Like, we will watch a man get his head split open with a 50 cal rifle from like from the Iraq War, but when it comes to nudity, we freak out. We become like grossed out. It's like, oh, nudity, this is offending, immoral. Oh, it's sexual deviancy. It's like, fuck you. Look at all the action movies we have in this country where people are getting mowed down by machine guns. Where we watch people get eviscerated, sliced open. We're okay with kids watching absolute violence, but when it comes to sensuality and shit like that, and again, I don't want to sexualize children. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about just simply looking at a body or looking at a body as just a body. Something beautiful to look at, something sensual to look at, even in R-rated movies. You know, tell me when was the last time you saw an R-rated movie that had a naked body, and especially from a man, because in this country we hate the penis. We do. We've become Zardos. We've absolutely become Zardos, where it's, you know, the penis is evil, the gun is good. Watch Zardos. It stars Sean Connery in the weirdest outfit. It's hilarious. But my God, it's just, what's wrong with our country nowadays? It's like, and again, it's nothing has changed. These are the same people that grew up being offended by cartoons, you know, and the same people who got offended with Batman and Returns. You know, that little bastard kid who was like, I was watching the movie, I don't know why my friends were cheering us on, why the, you know, penguin was, the penguin was having black goo coming out of his mouth. You know, when I was a kid, when I saw Batman Returns, I thought that movie was awesome. I wasn't like, oh, this is offensive, because I knew what the character was about. Batman's life is dark, gritty, but yet surreal, over-the-top fantasy. You know, I accepted the reality, and also the sex jokes in that too, where he's talking about the lube, and I'm like, I didn't understand it. I thought he just had like these sensual oils to be like, to smell good, or, I don't know. I don't know why he had. I just didn't get the joke. I was like, ha, what? Like, you don't ask questions. Like, no, this is the problem with our like country. It's like, they're so worried about children picking up on shit. They're smart. Don't get me wrong. Kids are smart, but they're not worldly. You have to understand that. Kids are smart. They can understand shit, but they don't get innuendos yet. They don't understand that yet. They don't get references like that. Slight innuendos and adult jokes that only the adults get. They don't. Nowadays, we're so blunt with that. Like, take a look at all the adult cartoons that we see nowadays. Big Mouth is a great example. It's just basically a baseball bat to the back of the head instead of a slight little knife and, little assassin blade that pecks you and then runs off into the darkness, and then you realize, oh shit, I never picked that up as an adult. And we're so worried about we're so worried about everything too. We have to be these white knight crusaders, and it's like, fuck that. I'd rather be the dark knight crusader, fucking telling everybody about the real world and shit like that. Not to say I don't like want to make kids watch the most horrific things ever, or just things they shouldn't be watching. Kids are gonna find shit like that. So even if you like try your damnedest to censor that, they're gonna find it. And I think that may improve their lives a little bit. Like, again, you have adults, and a great example, my sister-in-law's nephew, my nephew and my sister-in-law's son, my nephew, they were talking about how babies are made, and they thought blowjobs were how babies are made. Which is hilarious. No, if that was the case, there would have been a lot more pregnant people out there. So, and I like the fact that her response, I don't want to talk. Oh my god, oh, it's so uncomfortable. Awkwardness. Oh, it's awkward. Oh, awkwardness. It's like, shut the fuck up. Grow a fucking pair of balls. And in this case, in her case, a pair of ovaries. It's like, for fuck's sakes. And then if you got these fucking, people, the body acceptance movement, which is a fucking joke, accepting the bodies only when it's appropriate, fat, ugly, and I'm not talking about obese, by the way. I am talking about obesity. I'm not talking about being thick. I'm not talking about plus-size women. I'm not talking about somebody like Ashley Graham, and I'm trying to think of her name. You've seen her before, and you know what I'm talking about. But she's trying to find her name, trying to figure out her. It's like Stefan. It's an Italian name, and she is thick. There's a difference between being absolutely abusively fat and obese, and then there's just, and then there's just thick. There's a difference. Because the difference is one's taking care of themselves and the other one is eating too much and being completely malnourished. And again, not to say that I think skeletons are attractive, both those, like, malnutrition is not attractive on both spectrums. Being extremely fat is not attractive. Being this obese, 600-pound beast versus a 50-pound skeleton walking around. None of those are attractive. Both of those are extreme ends to one coin. And that is malnutrition. You can say, oh, well, the fat person's not malnutritioned, because every time we say the words malnutrition, we think of anorexia, Kate Moss body size. No, I'm talking about eating poorly, not getting enough nutrition, you're eating nutritional dense foods. People talk about, you explain this to them, it goes, oh, so I just gotta eat salad. It's like, no, you gotta eat steak. Steak doesn't cause fucking any goddamn fucking disease or cancers or any bullshit that these fucking vegans are pushing. No offense to the vegans, but seriously, do the fucking research on that one. Cancer? No, I'm sorry. No, it doesn't cause fucking cancer or obesity, which, by the way, saturated fats don't cause fat. It's sugar and fucking carbohydrate intake to the max. If you're eating way too much carbohydrates, you're gonna get fat. And you don't blame that, and you don't blame the seed oils, so fuck you on that one. And butter, by the way, is not bad for you either. Explain that to the fucking person who's been eating butter forever and not has been dead yet. We have people in this country that smoke 20 packs a day and they're still not dead yet. Why? Nobody wants to ask the questions. They want you to be, well, you know, again, excuse me, I'm going off on a tangent here, but this is like one of the biggest issues I have in this fucking country, is this misinformation about our food and diet, and then you have people mocking us, you know, excuse me, yes, I'm conservative. Oh my god, you're conservative. You're the villain. Yes, I am. I am a fucking super villain, motherfucker. That's why if you read my thing on there, go down, scroll down there, it's an American super villain. Why? Because somebody has to tell you the fucking truth that Homelander is a piece of shit. Along with the fucking Seven. That's my problem with the fucking boys. And I'll explain why I kind of love the boys and hate the boys at the same time. It's the fact that there's no supervillains in it. And if there are, they're, you know, they're agents of Vought. And I'm like, that's not how you should do. That's kind of lame. It's like, okay, I get it. It's all fiction, we get it. It's stupid fantasy shit. But I love it. Why can't you let me have my fiction, alright? I'm gonna be honest too with that, but back onto the plus size thing and model, like the whole thing about that. Natural is beautiful, and here's the thing. There are people, like, and I was talking to my friend Caroline about this. I consider you a friend. Caroline, if you're watching this, yes, you are a friend. My Insta friend, so, Instagram friend. It kind of annoys me a little bit that we kind of, like, we're okay, you know, here's the thing. I'm going to say this too. I find, you know, people with plastic surgery, you know, who get like who don't look natural, like, you know, breast implants, ass implants, which I thought that the thing never existed. I thought that was a joke. No, that's a thing. Ass implants exist, and that makes me sad because this I understand completely. If you're not born with a well-endowed chest and you have to if you want some bigger boobs, I understand that. If it's done proper, but leave it alone. You can work on that. That's a muscle. That's a muscle you can work on. The boob is just like a jellyfish thing that lives in there. I'm not trying to degrade any women who has breast decretion or anything like that, or well, you shouldn't, you know, decrease your breasts. It's like, no, it's natural. I think natural is beautiful. If you want to get plastic surgery, fine, get it proper. I mean, even in the face, it's like, just age gracefully. That's all I gotta say about that. There are women out there who are like, you know, 40 years plus, you know, I don't want to say 40 is old. 40 is just like, you're basically just now you're a mature adult. Like 50 is now where you're the, you know, they want to call you a senior citizen. I think being 60 is a senior citizen. That's where I think it is. 50 is just kind of like, okay, you're old, you're experienced, you're classic. What's old to me is somewhere between 75 to 75 to, like, say somewhere between 70 and 100. That's old person. Like, and I'm not picking on the old person thing because I'm 33 years old, so it's like, what the fuck, who cares? But yeah, that's the whole thing I kind of like about, you know. But back onto the thing, aging gracefully. You should age gracefully. I mean, one of the, like, a person I was following on Instagram, Kelly Wu. You know who Kelly Wu is. If you've ever seen X2, she's Lady Deathstrike. She was in The Scorpion King. Very attractive Asian lady. She's aged gracefully. She's got white streaks in her hair, and I'm like, ooh, hello, madam. I don't want to go into any kind of, like, very racial things, but she's a very attractive Asian lady. Again, it's about aging gracefully. Age gracefully, my friend. But I will finish up by saying this, but it's this, if you want to talk about the body positive movement, talk about all body part. Like, don't talk about, like, being fat and obese and it's like, you're perfect just the way you are. No. Make some changes. It's like, I know, and granted, like, if you're not going to look like Kate Moss, or I'm trying to think of, like, or like a fit supermodel, you know, Victoria's Secret model. They're bred to be like that. I'm talking about taking care of yourself, taking care of the body you got. I don't care if you're endomorph, ectomorph, mesomorph. Take care of your body. That's it. And age gracefully. Alright, I think I've spoke long enough. I'll see you in the next video. Take care, love you, bye-bye, and remember to stay fucking awesome.